What's up everyone, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Guys, we have so many new releases to talk about today, we barely have time to roll the intro, so let's go ahead and roll the intro. Welcome back everyone to this edition of What's Happening in Men's Fragrance. There's a lot happening in men's fragrance right now. There are a ton of new releases. Are they all like substantial new releases? That's what you're here to find out. Hopefully I can relay that to you so that you can make the decision as the consumer to either purchase these or give them a hard pass. First, before we dive into what's new, let's take a look at what's trending. What is trending? What are brands doing right now? Well, the kind of sort of trend of the sweet and sexy fragrance that is masculine is continuing. Fragrances that are more for cooler weather. This seems to be the year of winter fragrances or cold weather fragrances. There's a lot of them that are being released that are a little bit heavy on the sweeter side. I really like the kind of syrupy sweet fragrances that aren't overdone. An equal measure of sweet, sexy, and masculine. That is the trend, and that is continuing. We're going to see that in a new fragrance by Paco Rabanne. Remember their flagship fragrance Phantom, and then there was the Phantom with camo on, which was the same fragrance, just a new bottle. Well, now Paco Rabanne has announced Phantom Night, which is just going to be a darker translation of the existing formula. So it's going to be a nighttime version, kind of a sweet, sexy date night version. Of course, that's a very sweet green fragrance. So is it going to maintain that green? We don't really have a note listing released yet. We just know that it's going to have lavender, vanilla, and vetiver, which that's pretty much in everything. Some people say it puts them in mind of the new Born in Roma Intense. I don't think it's going to be at all like that. It just happens to have lavender, vetiver, and vanilla in it. But again, Phantom Night, don't know anything about it, just that it's going to be a darker interpretation of the Phantom DNA. Now, if you type in Paco Rabanne Phantom Night, you're going to pull up a Phantom miniature on the Paco Rabanne official website. There's really not a lot you can do with it. There's like 3 or 4 images that are all exactly the same, and it looks like the miniature is for a sample, a 5 ml sample that they haven't actually released to the public yet. So it's just a placeholder, I think, for when they're actually going to release the fragrance and give us more details. But right now, we know that Paco Rabanne is hard at work on getting all that going and getting the marketing stuff out there so that we can finally see the release of Phantom Night. Have you ever walked into your living room, you know, and your couch, the pillows are everywhere, cushions are kind of janked up. You're going to have somebody that'll be visiting soon. And so you're like, what's the best thing to do here? I don't really have time to clean. You dust off the pillows, you put them where they belong, and you fluff them up, right? So the fibers that are inside the pillows, you kind of push them to the foreground. Nothing has wrinkles or seams. And then you put everything in its place and you step back and take a look and you're like, it looks great. That's professional pillow fluffing, and I feel like a lot of the fragrances that are being released are sort of like that. It's purported to be fresh, new, and exciting, but when you kind of step back and look at it, it's sort of the same thing. One good example of that is a new Carolina Herrera release in the Bad Boy line of fragrances. It is Bad Boy Dazzling Garden. Dazzling Garden is just kind of a weird name for a fragrance. You've got the name Bad Boy, which is kind of a badass name, and then Bad Boy Dazzling Garden. It's like, what? That almost cancels it out. Regardless of the funky name, it is a pretty cool bottle. Those of you that love the color purple will be happy about this release. It's going to be the same Bad Boy fragrance in a new cash grab bottle. While I'm all about those cool presentations, I really do like the lightning bolt. I'm down with the color purple. It is a cool looking bottle, I will admit, but the only thing I don't like about cash grabs like this, it creates confusion out there because people are like, oh, I'm gonna get a brand new Bad Boy fragrance, and they get it, they spray it on, it's like, wow, it smells very similar to Bad Boy. It's because it's exactly the same. Even though on a lot of websites, Fragrantica included, they're gonna list these different notes so that you're thinking you're getting a brand new fragrance. It is not. It is exactly the same fragrance. Carolina Herrera is pretty bad about doing that, so just so you're aware, new presentation, same fragrance. Why they call it a limited edition or collector's edition. So that's what I mean by professional pillow fluffing. Come on, Carolina Herrera, don't give us something old and new clothing. Give us something new. For those of you that are lovers of Bleu de Chanel by Chanel, Bleu de Chanel has a brand new all-over body spray. It may be a bit different than the actual Bleu de Chanel fragrance. I haven't tried it out, so I can't give you my opinion on it. But it is available, and it's like $90 for a 3.4 100ml bottle of the all-over spray. So if you're interested in that, that is available. Its classification is that of an aromatic woody fragrance. The all-over spray of Bleu de Chanel is a powerful expression that combines the freshness of citrus with the woody whisper of dry cedar notes. New Caledonian sandalwood creates a warm and sensual trail. So you've got citrus, cedar, and sandalwood. In the instructions of how to use it, you just spray it all over your body after getting out of the shower, and you can actually use it along with Bleu de Chanel. So you can kind of layer it either under or on top of your typical Bleu de Chanel. Whichever concentration that you have, the all-over body spray will just kind of subsidize that scent trail. Speaking of trends, there is a fragrance house that is a niche house called Day 3 Fragrances that in amongst the trend of vanilla-oriented or vanilla-esque fragrances, they are actually producing a fragrance that is specific to incense. So their primary focus is on frankincense. For you lovers of resinous, mysterious, and alluring fragrances that are niche, you'll be happy to know that Day 3 Fragrance is releasing Silent Rescue. That is the name of their niche fragrance whose primary focus is on incense. One of the things that they postulate is that you ask 10 people what they think frankincense smells like, you're probably going to get 10 different answers. Frankincense has never held the top position in terms of fragrance notes. It's always subsidizing something else. It's always there to kind of back other things up. Its classification is that of a woody aromatic fragrance featuring top notes of citrus and spicy notes with a heart note of black tea, base notes of sandalwood, benzoin, and frankincense. You might remember recently I talked about a release by Thameen. It's the second fragrance to drop in the Brittlone collection in the Covent Garden trilogy called Bohemian Infusion. The first in the Covent Garden series was called Fanfare. Remember, talked about Fanfare, and there is the this one is the second one, Bohemian Infusion. Just like Fanfare, it is a unisex fragrance. It's inspired by stories of the modest piazza at Covent Garden in the 19th and 20th centuries when it was a popular meeting place for the eccentrics. Focuses on the dandies, literati, and their flamboyant cafe society lifestyle. The classification is that of a citrus aromatic fragrance with top notes of grapefruit, petted grain, black currant, and cardamom, followed by heart notes of artemisia, longoza, cinnamon, myrtle, with base notes of ambrostar, labdanum, ambre, and patchouli. A lot of interesting notes there, just like the name implies, Bohemian Infusion. This is going to be kind of a floral, woody, citrusy infusion of notes. Kind of similar to Fanfare, although taking it in a different direction, and being a bit more of the cafe society, literati, flamboyant style. So for those of you that like the floral citrus combination of Fanfare, be on the lookout for the second in the trilogy, Bohemian Infusion. Christian Dior has a new eau de parfum release that is called Dior Riviera. It is a unisex fragrance created by the inspiration drawn from the inspiration of the French Riviera. Dior Riviera's classification is that of a floral, fruity, green fragrance, so it's going to have multiple shades, sounds like. It is going to be purportedly a year-round fragrance, so it's going to be very versatile. It says it's going to feature the primary notes of fig tree and rose. Sounds like it's going to be something that has multiple shades, meaning you're going to be able to wear it spring, winter, summer, fall. For those of you that, and I include myself in this group, that enjoy the Christian Dior line, including Toba Color and others, Dior Riviera is going to be another one of those that you'll likely want to get your hands on and try out. You can actually get it now. Definitely try a sample of it when you get an opportunity, and I'll leave that link below so that you can check that out. Dior Riviera by Christian Dior. Speaking of Francis Kirkjohn, those of you that are fans will definitely want to check out Aquamedia Cologne Forte, or Aquamedia Cologne Forte. A couple of ways of saying that. I'll let you choose which one you think is correct. It is a fourth fragrance to his Opus collection of fragrances, the Cologne Forte collection, said to be the median point between light and freshness. Aquamedia Cologne Forte's classification is that of a citrus aromatic fragrance featuring top notes of bergamot and verbena, with heart notes of fennel and hedione. resting on a base of woody musks. So you've got bergamot, a verbena accord, fennel, hedione, woody musks. So there's a little bit of floral influence there. It's going to be probably the best of both worlds. So for those of you that are fans of Francis Kurkdjian, definitely want to keep your eyes peeled for Aquamedia Cologne Forte, or Aquamedia Cologne Forte. There's a new Roja Elysium release called Roja Elysium Eau Intense. It is a more intense version of the original Elysium. It, of course, will be the latest addition to the Elysium collection that's reimagining the original beloved Elysium Accord, and it brings an even more refreshing experience. Uplifting the senses, it transports the wearer to a paradise of crystal waters and cloudless skies. Elysium Eau Intense, a new era for the revered Elysium experience. Roja has intensified the Elysium experience by increasing its iconic, fresh, woody, and sensual characteristics. Roja Elysium Eau Intense classification is that of a citrus woody fragrance, with top notes of bergamot, grapefruit, lime, rhubarb, lavender, thyme, artemisia, and musk, followed by middle notes of lily of the valley, orange blossom, rose de mai, jasmine de grace, tuberose, apple, blackcurrant, resting on a base of galbanum, black pepper, cypriol, vetiver, cedarwood, dry woods, violet leaf, juniper berry, benzoin, vanilla, labdanum, leather, ambergris, and musk. That's one thing I like about Roja, is they list all the notes that they're putting in the fragrance. They're proud of the attempt. They want you to know just how amped up it is. This is all that's in it. So for those of you that like the original Roja Elysium, you definitely want to check out Eau Intense. Pulling back from the world of niche fragrances back into the world of very inexpensive designer fragrances, Davidoff has announced that they're releasing a new version of Cool Water. You might remember Cool Water Reborn. It's not really the reincarnation of the Cool Water DNA that many were hoping for. And so this in particular is going to be Cool Water Reborn, the EDP, the Eau de Parfum version. Its primary focus is going to be on galbanum, cedarwood, and vetiver. That's the note trifecta, or the key notes. So it's going to have some darker resins in there, some cedarwood, and some light vetiver. We're not sure how different it's going to be from the original Reborn, but hopefully different enough. Let's hope that Cool Water Reborn, the EDP, will be better than the original Cool Water Reborn, and might be something a little bit different and new, and is not just another professional pillow fluffing cash grab. Hope springs eternal. That's it for today's edition of What's Happening in Men's Fragrance, so that you can make informed purchasing decisions for your fragrance. I know we ran through all of these relatively quickly. There's not a ton of detail about some of them, and there's too much detail on others, so I try to find a happy medium in that middle distance of keeping you informed about the highlights. I know I had a week or so hiatus, apologies for that. I am going to announce the winner of the giveaway that we did before I left. So keep your eyes peeled for that announcement. It's going to be coming very soon. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by to check out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your continued support of my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.